he's being a bigot and a racist, thinking that that's going to help him get elected. It's not. It's going to ensure that he is routed next year.
Joe, I think you're being a little bit too charitable regarding Donald Trump having an actual strategy in the first place. I think that this is who he is. He's racist. Yeah. You've seen it, in his entire career, whether it's, calling for 5 young black men who are innocent to be executed. You see it in his comments consistently throughout the course of his campaign, wanting to ban an entire religion from entering the country. And just this week, to, the horrible remarks that, an elected official elected by her fellow countrymen and women should be grateful to be in the country and should leave otherwise. And it's just incredible to me that we still are not being just more forthright and saying this for what it is. It's Donald Trump. He is not, you listen to how he's speaking sometimes and the crazy things that come out of his mouth, and you wonder why someone isn't just taking him to Walter Reed for a full-on medical, because it just doesn't all seem to be, flowing that well. And I think it's why he's going back to his greatest original trick, being racist.
Well, okay, this clip is actually very, very refreshing, because it is so good to see this former aide finally just say what it is. Like Joe Scarborough is trying to make it seem like Donald Trump is strategically being a racist. No, the Republican Party in the past was strategically racist. It was called the Southern Strategy, right? They employed that to get victory with Richard Nixon, with Ronald Reagan. I mean, that's what the Republican Party did strategically. Donald Trump is not being strategic. Donald Trump, like this individual said on this video clip, Donald Trump is slowly but surely devolving into your racist old uncle who sits on the couch all day long, drinking beer, watching Fox News, and screaming, "Go back to Africa!" So it's really refreshing to see someone to just cut through it and say, this is who Donald Trump is. Now, this is what I was thinking about last week. I was thinking about actually over the weekend. I was thinking, what if you watching this clip were on the national stage and everyone saw you and everyone was examining you? I'm not making an excuse for Donald Trump. I'm trying to outline to you why this case that Donald Trump is slowly but surely losing his mind, therefore he's falling back on racism. That's exactly the case, because imagine if you were on the national stage and everybody knew about your little hands, everybody knew about the shape of your genitalia through Stormy Daniels, right, the mushroom, right? Everyone knew that you were a bumbling idiot. Everyone knew that you were incoherent, barely able to read, definitely not able to speak at more than a second grade level. Imagine every single day America is exposed to the very worst of you. That would kind of mess your brain up a little bit for most of us, and it will reveal who you really are, right? So this is not an excuse for Donald Trump. This is just to help you understand that I think her theory is spot on, 100% correct, because America sees Donald Trump is like the emperor with no clothes, except the fact that we all know he has on no clothes, and Donald Trump knows that he has on no clothes. He knows he has shoes too big to fill. He's inadequate compared to Barack Obama. He's incompetent in general. He is, there's a litany of things that we can list to show you how insecure Donald Trump is. And when you put a person that insecure in the limelight, underneath the light of all of America, and you expose the fact of his infidelity, his bankruptcies, the fact that he probably may honestly not even be a billionaire, that he's so desperate for money that he's using the American government to fund his personal private enterprises. When you think about all that, and that's for the entire world to see, when you're an insecure person, that would drive you crazy. And Donald Trump is falling back to his default position where he has been all of his life, because what do you do when you lash out? When you lash out with who you really are. And Donald Trump is lashing out as the racist that he really is. So thanks to this former aide on this Joe Scarborough clip for just cutting to the chase and saying, listen, Donald Trump is losing his mind. I think personally, Benjamin Dixon, I think he's losing his mind because all of the world sees him for what he is, which is a very small individual who is incoherent, possibly illiterate, sexual deviant with interesting genitalia. The entire world knows how his penis looks. I'm sorry, I hate to be so crude, but come on. The rest of us would probably snap. And the real question is when you're in that type of position, the true you is revealed. We knew this about Donald Trump. This is who he's been through his past. And so it's just being revealed on a scale that while I'm laughing to not cry, because there are people being hurt by his racism. There are people being hurt by his xenophobia. There's people being hurt by his policies, all because he's an insecure little man who's on a stage that's too big for him, realizing that he actually is much trash. As much as he attacked Barack Obama, he's standing in the shadow of a giant, and the entire world sees that he's not up to the comparison. He's not up to the task of filling the shoes of Barack Obama.